Hey guys, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I just want to touch base on Slayer's counter system. As you know, Slayer's counters has many variations. A lot of people still get pretty confused on what these sidesteps can do. I'll try to break them down to help you better understand how these things work. First off, you have your basic sidestep counter, one where you dodge an attack by sidestepping, then following up with a normal attack. This is your gun, by the way. The counter attack comes out pretty fast, so fast that you have more time to react after a successful hit, and this will for sure land a hit no matter how far you are to the enemy. On another note, you probably noticed by now that instead of following up with your normal attacks, you have another option to follow up with your weapon action, which is your blade. If you think of double sabers for a fighter, the counter mechanics are more or less the same, where depending on whether you normal attack or weapon action, your attacks will perform differently. And the sidestep weapon action for Slayer is very good. This version, you will instead close in on enemies while giving a big chunk of damage to enemies while filling up the focus gauge, and it has a good range of gap closure as well. One thing to note though, sidestepping with Slayer is somewhat very picky. Like you would have to try to be precise when timing your sidestep counters from enemy attacks, and the sidestep window for Slayer is small compared to the other classes. And if you haven't noticed, Slayer has an additional counter system through the skills on the Slayer skill tree. I've gone through each skill one by one in my Slayer guide, so if you're interested in more of Slayer's kit, I will leave a link to the video in the description and on top right of the video. Moving on, Slayer has two additional counters in its kit, the blade counter and the mobile blade counter. Both of these skills can be used as a subclass, but it's gun blades only. The blade counter lets you counterattack using your weapon action. This is when you are standing idle and you time your blocks with weapon action. And the mobile blade is your dodge weapon action, where you input a direction while pressing the weapon action. You'll have to learn a mobile blade in order to access the mobile blade counter skill. Each of these will perform the same attack when you press the normal attack button when countering with a weapon action. But the only difference is your weapon actions versions after blocking with a weapon action. This version, you have the ability to do continuous hits when countering with a weapon action. Think of this like the katana's combo finisher. It's very similar to that. This is completely different from when you do the regular sidestep counters. So when you perform this attack, you have iframes for the entire animation, and it is very safe. If you do not have these skills learned, especially the blade counter, and you try to weapon action counter, you will just negate damage, and that's it. So make sure you have these skills learned in the tree or it will not work. And it works for both main class and subclass too. And a couple things to keep in mind here, if you want to close the gap between you and the enemy, the sidestep weapon action counter is your go-to, and the damage is pretty good. If you want some good deeps, your weapon action is your go-to. Your normal attacks will perform the same thing no matter what you do. And one thing I completely forgot to mention is that your sidestep weapon action is probably your fastest tool to charge your focus gauge to the max. When starting out fresh and you have a point learned into the gauge amplifier skill, you could potentially get almost 2 gauges back with a single sidestep counter. It's that good. And overall, your weapon action will eventually be your go-to choice for counterattacks as a safe tool to have. But yeah, this isn't a long video. I try to keep it short and sweet so that way you guys can still get the info for Slayer's kit. I have more videos coming soon, so stay tuned for that. But anyways, that's it for this video. I hope it helps. If it did, I'd appreciate a like and sub to the channel for more PSO2 content. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one.